Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shadowwraith, and today I'm going to be going over the one, the only, the Nurglings, okay? The Little Lords. They are absolutely phenomenal in 9th edition, and I'm going to be going over why, and why you might want to include them in your force. Be that Chaos Demons or Death Guard. Now, a quick brief overview of their profile, okay? They're pretty terrible. Weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 2, toughness 2, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 7, 6+ save. Okay, but the 4 wounds is good. Now, what have they got? Well, they've got a bunch of attacks, 4 each, okay? Sure, it's only strength 2 and hitting on 4s, but that's still fantastic. It's, you can reroll wounds of 1 for this weapon, because they're plague. That's, I'm guessing, what they're going with. And they've got disgustingly resilient, demonic ritual, and they've obviously got the demonic special rule. Now, they are squishable, so you you don't get your disgustingly resilient rolls against attacks with a damage characteristic higher than 1. So, yeah, that's fine, that makes sense, sure. And then they've got Mischief Makers, which makes them fantastic. At the start of the game, you can deploy them anywhere on the battlefield, as long as it's more than 9 inches away from the enemy's deployment zone or enemy models. Fantastic, so there's nothing stopping you whacking these bad boys straight onto an objective, straight away, and especially if you've got a big blob of them, okay? That's not bad at all. When you just drop a unit of 9 straight onto an objective, or a couple of objectives if you've got multiple squads of 9, or 6, whatever works for you. And the reason they're so good is because they're so damn hard to shift, okay? So yeah, you saw their stat line, not too impressive, but they're going to have to dedicate quite a lot of firepower, especially if you've got nearly 40 wounds sat on there with a 9-man blob. It's ridiculous. If they're not damage characteristic of higher than 1, then they get disgusting resilient, and on top of that, they got their 5+ demonic save. Along with that, if you're going with Nurgle Demons and you have Miasma of Pestilence, or Death Guard, they both got it. But obviously this one's for Nurgle Demons. You can pick them as long as they're 18 inches away from the Psyker, and they're -1 to hit. That's going to really annoy a lot of people. -1 to hit, 4 wounds apiece, 5 up invuln save, and potentially a 5+ disgusting resilient. On top of that, we've got another psychic power called Fleshy Abundance, 18-inch range. Restore D3 lost wounds. So you can then start healing them. And that's not the end of it. Let's say they do wipe them out quite heavy. You've got 9 that started there on that objective, and they take you down to 2. For a mighty 1 CP, you can spend it on Nurgling Infestation. So, you've lost so many. So in that situation, you'd be rolling 7 dice, and each 5+ you roll, you restore a base of Nurglings. Yep, they just come back. So you can roll extremely well and get all 7 back, or just get 4 back, or 3, or whatever. That's really good. Really, really good. You can, as well, if you so wish, combo that with the Great Unclean One. And all he needs to have is a Doomsday Bell. So basically, as long as that unit is within 7 inches of him, you roll a dice on a 4+, a single slain model is returned to that unit. Very nice. So, with all that combined, you'd imagine they'd be quite expensive. Well, not at all. They're 18 points, which I think is a steal, okay? Sure, it's quite expensive, they're quite squishy, but a bunch of them, it's really scary, really, really scary. Like I said, a squad of 9, max squad of 9. You could be bringing them back. You can be bringing them back in 2 different ways. You can make them harder to hit, -1 to hit. On top of that, you've got your Lokis. So basically, the Nurgle one you have is when you roll a 6 plus to wound, it counts as 1 additional damage. So they could be chucking out 2 damage apiece if they're near the appropriate character. But that's not what they're about. They're about just staying sat there on an objective. And let's be honest, it's 100% worth it. You can spread them out. I know one high placing tournament list brought, I think, 3 squads of 4. 3 squads of 4 sounds right. Well, yeah, 3 squads of 4 and 6 squads of 4, pretty much. Nurglings, okay? And they're just sat on these objectives. You can bunch them up a bit more if you want, so you can benefit from the other CPs better. But don't get me wrong, either is a very viable option. And this is 9th edition. It's all very much based on objective secured. Okay? Tough objective secured model. And you're not spending too many points on that, so the rest of your army is still there to deal out damage. If you don't have to run pure Demons of Chaos. Demons of Chaos, especially Nurgle ones, with Death Guard, so you can literally take whatever kind of detachment you see fit. You can just take a patrol with some Nurglings. Absolutely worth it, okay? Cheap hero to follow them around, a Poxbringer or something like that, and a bunch of Nurglings. Happy days. Run alongside your Death Guard. You've got your Blight Haulers to deal damage. You've got your Plague Burst Crawlers, firing their accelerated entropy cannons. Yeah. And then you've got Plague Marines to go alongside that. So you can hold the objectives with your Nurglings initially, and then move forward with your heavy infantry, and then take them from there. And the whole time you can be dealing damage from a distance. Plague Marines with bolters are deadly with the right combo at this point. Until their new codex drops, anything could be anything. But I know for sure Nurglings are still going to remain the same for a good while, unless the next wave of codexes will be demons, and I don't think it will be. That's just my thought. They've got other armies to deal with first. So I definitely think Nurgle demons, Nurglings in particular, are definitely going to see a very good place in most people's lists. And yes, it is worth the 2 CPs to bring them in a patrol or whatever. Without a doubt. It gives you access to their stratagems, and, well, you need to, because they're not Death Guard. But running them alongside your Death Guard army is fantastic. Just having that early bit of pressure where you're already on the objectives is quite scary for your opponent, and they have to then start dealing with your Nurglings before they deal with your main army. Or they can go the other route and start dealing with your main army, ignore the Nurglings, because they're just Nurglings, but they've got objectives secured, they're pretty tough to get rid of, and you can bring them back. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Nurglings. Fantastic, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Nurglings. Do you bring them in your list? Are they worth it? Are they worth the 2 CP to bring it with your Death Guard? Anyway, if you like this kind of quick video, do consider hitting the like button, and if you're feeling especially saintly today, do consider subscribing. But if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.